Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet.
You just read from the previous one. Moksha means the jiva is gone. Yeah, the wise person's will has served its purpose. We'll start from there is no karma yoga for the jnani. Just give me less than a minute. I'll be back. So earlier we saw that the Vedas address the Karmakanda aspect of the Vedas, address only the Karta and not the Jnani, who is Satchidananda. So when there is no doer, there is no action. When there is no kartritva in the Atma, when karma is there for what karma is there for the person to do? If I am not the karta, how can I perform action even if all four Vedas enjoin me? If they say, oh karta, please do this ritual, I can only respond if I am the karta. When someone says, John, please come here, only John will come, no one else. Just as an individual is being addressed here, so too the Vedas also address the individual. O person, please do these karmas. Karma kuru. And who is the person the Vedas are addressing? Is it the Satchidananda Atma or the Karta? They are definitely addressing the Karta. And what happens if there is no Karta? There is no response. A wise person does not respond because he is not a Karta. Only when there is a Karta, a doer, does the addressing of the Vedas have an effect. Otherwise, it is useless. The enjoined karmas are also useless because they are all as well done for the Kritsna Karma Krita. Even Karma Yoga no longer applies to the wise person. There is no karma yoga for the jnani. A karma yogi is one who takes care of his or her raga dveshas, likes and dislikes, by doing what is to be done with a proper attitude towards the actions and also towards their results. The Vedas address both the karma yogi and the person who performs action strictly to accomplish certain desirable ends, because both of them have kartritva, doership. So the Vedas address both the karma yogi as well as the kamya karmi, the one who wants desired ends. Only the jnani, the one who sees inaction, is not addressed by the Vedas, because such a person sees Atma as akarta, the non-performer of action. If I am the non-performer of action, any enjoining done by the Vedas or anything else does not come to me at all. Therefore, whatever was to be done before is all over. I am a kritsna karma krit. There is nothing more for me to do. And anything that was to be done later is also taken care of. Before knowledge, all actions are meant for me, for my sukha, my happiness. I want some cheerfulness, some tranquility, antakarana shuddhi. So, before knowledge, all actions are meant for me. Either it is for my cheerfulness, my happiness, some tranquility, or antakarana shuddhi. So, karma yogi, all his actions are meant for antakarana shuddhi. All the others, the arthas and the artharthis, their purushartha is for some tranquility, some cheerfulness, some happiness. Then, with such a mind, I can achieve self-knowledge, which is seeing non-action in action. Karmani akarma darshanam. To see non-action in action is to understand that I am a karta, a non-doer. Thus, for the sake of self-knowledge alone, I perform all the karmas that are to be done by me. So see if you can relate this to some previous previous days reading, where all prayers are unto the divine alone. Whether we know it or not, all prayers, all actions are unto the divine. Whether it is going to the gym to grow your muscles, or whether it is someone who is a homemaker, whatever the actions are, they're all unto the divine. Whether they know it or not, they may not know it. A karma yogi does it with awareness that everything he or she performs is like a yajna, is an offering into the divine. Similarly, all karmas that are to be done by me are for the sake of self-knowledge alone. Everybody does it for that happiness, either out of happiness or for happiness. Even a kami, one who is not interested in self-knowledge, but just wants to fulfill certain desires, has to perform certain actions which are meant for the kami, the one who has desires. Because the person feels inadequate, he or she has certain desires that necessitate the performance of action. Suppose, however, you understand that the self is not inadequate, that it is adequate or more than adequate, then there is no desire for action. In fact, because the self is full, words like adequate and inadequate do not even come into the picture. Therefore, for the person who knows this, there is nothing to be done. Karyam karma na vidyate. When the mind, meaning the ahankara or the ego, is resolved in the Atma, there is nothing for the person to do. In the wake of knowledge, ahankara, the I notion, the karta is resolved in the Atma, and there is no longer any question of Atma being the karta. When there is no karta, there is nothing to be done, which is why the person is called kritsna karma krit. He or she has done everything that is to be done in the past as well as in the future. So his account with karma is settled once and for all. The only little karma that needs to be exhausted is the prarabdha karma. Because having taken birth in that particular physical body with that prarabdha, he has to exhaust that. So the Jivan Mukta would live on in the physical body as long as the prarabdha exists. And he has to run through that. There is no escaping that. But what gets burnt is all the sanchita karma. No more prarabdha for him for the next janma. Because prarabdha is nothing but a takeaway, a subset of the sanchita. A part of sanchita is taken for that particular janma. So he is out of the janma karma cycle, janma marana cycle, the samsara cycle. So therefore, there is nothing to be done. It's a beautiful term, kritsna karma krit. The person's will has served its purpose. This person for whom there is nothing to be done is a jnani, a wise person. Because there is nothing to be done for such a person, he or she is free to do a lot of things. When there is nothing to be done, what is there that is not to be done? There is no mandate for a jnani enjoining him to do any particular action or prohibiting him from doing any particular action. His or her job is over. Hereafter, the person's will has no place at all. Whatever will the person had before the knowledge took place has been successfully used up, having served its purpose. If we can translate the will as Purushartha, Purushartha again implies a karta. Who is doing it and for whose sake? So it all implies a karta. There is a desire to act for a particular result. So all this implies karta and bhukta. Whereas for the jnani, who is neither karta nor bhukta, there is no more will. The purushartha has served its purpose. This is why sannyasis do not leave wills when they die. They have no will to leave a will. Even that is not there. That will to leave a will. Only when will is there can there be a will. So one person necessarily has to have a will to even write a will. Sometimes, if the sannyasi has many disciples, not leaving a will can cause problems as to who is to succeed him or her and so on. Whereas, if he or she is a traditional sannyasi, a parampara sannyasi, and the disciples have been taught well, there will be no problem. There will be no vying for the sannyasi seat because there is no seat. There is no organization for a seat to be there. Each disciple is the seat, in fact. I think that's exactly how Shankaracharya did. He had a set of disciples. He did not nominate anyone. You are going to be the next head. In the Hindu tradition, Vaidika Dharma, there is no organization or hierarchical structure, no papacy, diocese, parish, or congregation. Dharma, of course, has no organization, and in that dharma, there is a person, a sannyasi, who also has no organization. The very word sannyasi means that the person just lives with only the sky above him or her. The person is the only organization that is there. And if he has any disciples, every disciple there may be is an organization. This is how the parampara, the tradition is. The sannyasi does not even need the text of the Upanishads or the Gita. Everything is in the form of understanding within the person's head. There is no organizational head other than this head, and there is no organization other than this. Moksha means the jiva is gone. So, shall we move on? Anyone wants to share anything up until now? So, there is no karma yoga for the jnani because he is a kritsna karma krit. And
The meaning, what is the meaning of Krishna Karma Krita?
that he has done all that is to be done. There is nothing else left to be done. Saha buddhiman manushyeshu saha kritsna karma krit. So, one who has realized that he is a karta, he has utilized his intellect fully to the fullest in attaining the self-knowledge. He is a buddhiman versus a kripana, right? Unlike a kripana. So he is a buddhiman and he is kritsna karma krit. He has done all that is to be done. There's nothing else left for him to do. Because why? He is in that space of purnatva. He's in that space of Advaita, of Satchit Ananda, limitless Ananda. So when he is that, what is there for him to do? If you get back to the root of why any action is done, it is done because of a desire to be happy. He is happiness himself. So then what is the need? Where is the need for him to do anything? So that is the Kritsna Karma Krit. Whereas a Karma Yogi is not Kritsna Karma. He's a Kritsna Karma Krit in the making. Why? Because he still has his Raga Dveshas to deal with, to neutralize. Therefore, Karma Yogi functions in the world with a proper attitude, that Yajna Bhava. He has the Yajna Bhava with respect to all his actions and Prasada Buddhi with respect to all the results of the actions.
So he's a jnani, right? Krishna Karma Krita.
Yeah, Krishna Karma Krit is a jnani. Correct.
Jnani.
Yeah. It's another facet of a jnani. So if you can, jnani is Satchid Ananda. He is a buddhiman. He is Krishna Karma Krit. So it's another way of looking at the jnani. Like how in chapter 2, when Arjuna asks, tell me what are the features of this characteristics of how does he eat, sleep, walk of a Sthita Prajna. So, and Krishna goes on to describe He does not describe how an enlightened person sits, eats, walks. No, he describes the essence of being a sthita prajna. And this is, in essence, Krishna Karma Krit. There's no doership only. So where is that karma happening? The whole karma seed is burnt out. That sanchita karma is burnt up. So there's nothing else for him. And similarly, there is no nishiddha karma, whereas as well as there is nothing that is preventing him from doing anything. He has even his will is kind of has served its purpose. So even that will is not there. He just acts based on the situation that is there and based on his prarabdha. So yesterday there's a little correction because I was sharing this with Prem, and I may have mentioned something about Dattatreya as being a, I was not clear about that, about the Datta Charitra, that I may have mentioned that he is a womanizer, but that's not true. So I'm just retracting my statement. It is all about a person who, it is to show the greatness of Pativrata. There's the story of Sumati, who has a husband who is um, riddled with disease. He's a leper. So he has a desire to go to a prostitute. So she takes him because he cannot walk. She takes him on a basket on her head and she's walking through the streets. When inadvertently his leg hits a sadhu who is passing by. And that sadhu curses him that by dawn next day, he will be no more. That is when Sumati, with all her powers of being a Pativrata, says there will not be any more dawn. The sun will not rise. And then the whole world goes into chaos. So then the people go to um, um, I think Anasuya or her husband, and then Anasuya tells Sumati. I'm not very good with stories, and they're unlike Prem. So, bottom line is they um, negotiate, so to say, with Sumati, and Anasuya promises her, "Don't you worry, your powers, because of your powers of being such a great Pativrata, you were able to do this, but this is affecting the whole world, and therefore there will be dawn, your husband will die, but then I will, with my powers, will give him back his life." So bottom line, the end of the story is that he is redeemed of all his disease, and this Sumati's husband, when he's brought back to life again, comes back clean of his disease, free of his disease, and as a handsome person. So basically, I think this was to give the the powers of being a pativrata. So I think I got a bit mixed up there. So I'm just clarifying that. I just wanted to make sure that we get it right. So when a sannyasi has, I'll just read that part where he or she is free to do a lot of things because there is nothing to be done for such a person. When there is nothing to be done, what is there that is not to be done? There is no mandate for a jnani enjoining him to do any particular action or prohibiting him from doing any particular action. His or her job is over. Whereas so therefore he is above even dharma and adharma. Basically, that was what is the meaning here. Whereas for all those people who are ajnanis, necessarily we have to follow dharma. That's a mandate for us, right? To do and not to do. There are things that we do and there are things that are not to be done. So the dharma is a mandate. Whereas a jnani is beyond that. He is beyond the duality. Where is dharma for him? Because he sees actionlessness in everything, in all karma. Anybody wants to share anything? Okay, let's move on. Moksha means the jiva is gone. Once self-knowledge is gained, the job of the wise person is over and there is no will left. It has all been used up. The will is useful only until moksha, just as one's checkbook is useful only as long as one's account is not closed. Once the account is closed, what is the use of the checks that you still have? They are useless. You can fill them out and give them to people, but they have no meaning. Similarly, when moksha is gained, the will is useless. The account is closed. The accountant has struck out the person's name with a red pen and has removed the file. One more jiva is gone, finished. And with this jiva goes everything else, meaning that all the karma term deposits simply evaporate. There is no longer anyone to claim them. Just as when a person dies, his or her file is marked diseased, so too the jiva's file is closed and dispensed with because there will be no further transactions or complications. No one else is going to claim the jiva's karma. It is all over. The file is shredded and burnt with no trace left behind. Therefore, the person is kritsna karma krit. Having gained moksha, the person has nothing more to do. So this is where we stopped yesterday. We'll just pause for a while before we go on to the next section. I think we did even this, how objections are praised in Vedanta. Yeah, we did this part as well. So we'll just give a pause. If anybody wants to share anything, please go ahead before we go on to the next So, how objections are presented in Vedanta? Here, there is one small but highly technical objection raised by Shankara. This objection is based on a somewhat different interpretation that is sometimes given to this verse. Objections are raised in various ways in Vedanta. Certain philosophies are presented as sparring partners for us, like the Sankhya and Vaisheshika schools of thought. There is also a person referred to as Purva Mimamsaka, who is a little more than a sparring partner. Mimamsa is the analysis of the sentences of the Vedas. The analysis of the sentences in the Purva Bhaga, the earlier portion or Karma Kanda, is called Purva Mimamsa, while the analysis of the sentences of the Uttara Bhaga, the later portion, which is Vedanta, is called Uttara Mimamsa. Then there are those who are not really sparring partners at all. They are opponents, like the Bauddhas and Jainas. That is, the Buddhists and the Jainas. They are there is one term given to them, that is the Nastikas. They are the Nastikas because they do not believe in the Vedas. So they are opponents, like Bauddhas and Jainas, who have their own philosophies and have to be answered. To understand what Vedanta is saying, we use all of these as sparring partners by analyzing their particular arguments. Some are permanent sparring partners, others are by invitation only, and with still others, we do shadow fighting. So it's a different perspective coming up, right? So objections are raised in Vedanta. See, Vedanta is not just blind belief. You require faith, no doubt. Shraddha is required. But it is not like that is it. What I say is the truth. It is all about questioning. It's all about inquiry. All the Upanishads, if you see, they are all a matter of a question and answer. The student and the teacher. There are questions. And then there is inquiry. There is active use of the intellect. So then the philosophy of the Purva Mimamsa. So therefore these opponents, and one way to establish the truth of that Vedanta is saying is to have these arguments, because there are objections that are raised. There are different schools of thought, different schools of philosophies, which are in difference and conflict with what Vedanta says. So when such is the case, there are arguments as to which is true. So in such a situation, there are permanent sparring partners. There are others that come by invitation only. And then still others, they do only shadow fighting. We use their principles. We don't bring them into our arguments, but we use what their principles are to re-establish what Vedanta is saying. The philosophy of the Purva Mimamsaka is very simple. The Veda is eternal and is the final word in everything. According to the Purva Mimamsaka, the Veda enjoins you to do karma alone. For this person, knowledge is not moksha. Performing karma is the only way to gain moksha. Because the Purva Mimamsaka analyzes the pramana so well, we make use of his method of analysis in Vedanta. So the Veda has, going back to the Veda, the first part of the Veda, which addresses the karta, talks of karma, and as per the analysis of this Purva Karma Kanda, the Purva Mimamsa. Mimamsa is analysis. Moksha is gained by doing karma alone. And knowledge is not moksha. Whereas the Uttarakanda or the Vedanta, Uttaramimamsa, talks of knowledge as the only way to gain moksha. So because the Purva Mimamsaka analyzes the pramana so well, we make use of his method of analysis in Vedanta. So it's almost like a permanent sparring partner. The Purva Mimamsaka's argument. So what is it? According to the Purva Mimamsaka, all sentences of the Veda deal primarily with action and therefore do not really convey anything that is already there. It should be clearly understood that the sentences throughout the entire Veda can be taken as commands in terms of what is to be done, Vidhi Vakya, or what is not to be done, Nishiddha Vakya or Nishedha Vakya. Any sentence that reveals the nature of an object is connected to or subserves either a Vidhi Vakya or a Nishedha Vakya. I'll read this para again. So according to the Purva Mimamsaka, all sentences of the Veda primarily deal with action and therefore do not really convey anything that is already there. What is already there? Atma is already there. So they're not talking, according to Purva Mimamsaka, Veda deals primarily with action. It should be clearly understood that the sentences throughout the entire Veda can be taken as commands in terms of what is to be done, Vidhi Vakya, and what is not to be done, Nishedha Vakya. Any sentence that reveals the nature of an object is connected to or subserves either a Vidhi Vakya or a Nishedha Vakya. Whereas what is that is already there is Atma, which is free from action, actionless. So you see where the Purva Mimamsaka is coming from. It's all action-oriented. This analysis of karma, karma mimamsa, is very important because the orientation of any human mind, even the minds of those who are lazy, is towards karma, action. A person who is lazy is bothered because of the action that he or she does not perform. Thus, both the active and the lazy are oriented towards karma alone. That there is something to be done is the truth about everyone. For the Purva Mimamsaka then, moksha can only be gained by performing Nitya Naimittika karma. So let's understand what we're reading is all about the Purva Mimamsa. So we need to create the space in our mind, intellect, for the understanding of what moksha is from the Purva Mimamsa perspective. So let us not let that not cloud our understanding of what Vedanta has been talking of, what Krishna, what Bhagavan has been talking of all along. So Nitya Karmas, also for a Purva Mimamsa, moksha can be gained only by performing Nitya Naimittika Karma. Nitya Karmas are the daily rituals that one has to perform and certain other enjoined duties that are to be done. Naimittika Karmas are those karmas that have to be done on certain occasions, as at the time of an eclipse. And these Nitya Naimittika karmas are to be done by everyone. Moksha, according to the Purva Mimamsaka, also involves not doing any kamya karma, the actions done for a specific desirable result. One must do only those actions which are duties. The idea here is to avoid both punya and papa. By not planning or performing any kamya karmas, punya is avoided. And by not doing what is not to be done, papa is avoided. In this way, the prarabdha karma that brought this body into being will exhaust itself without your needing to do anything about it. The capital will be lost and the body will die. Having avoided all punya and papa, there will be no new karmas for you and therefore no cause for a new birth. All you have to do is keep eating daily and do your nitya naimitika karma. This then is one argument for gaining moksha through karma, the simple argument of the Purva Mimamsaka. So, in essence, what is this? The Purva Mimamsaka has a set of do's and don'ts, Vidhi Vakya and Nisheda Karma, Nishiddha Karma and Vishuddhi Karma and Nisheda Karma.
What is Vishuddhi karma?
What is to be done?
That
The
is
Vidhi Karma.
okay. But it is so convincing, no?
It is, no, that is why it is there. It seems like, see, as we're reading, what is that is dawning? What about the Sanchita Karma? They have very conveniently left the whole Sanchita Karma out of this equation. Correct? They're only dealing with this birth and this life. So in this life, the argument is what? You do not do Kamya Karma. See, Purva Mimamsas are also, the Purushartha is also Moksha. So there is no Artha, Kama and that is governing their actions. So they leave out Kamya Karma out of the equation. So whatever you do, rituals, prayers, actions are directed towards moksha. But how? By removing the Kamya Karma. You just do your Nitya Naimitika Karma. So when you remove Kamya from your equation, there is no Punya. And because you're doing only things to be done, there is no Papa. So in this way, what is happening? The prarabdha karma that ultimately gets exhausted when the body dies, leaves the person without any cause for a new birth.
Yeah.
Having avoided...
You can avoid agami karma only.
Correct. So having avoided all punya and papa, there will be no new karmas for you and therefore no cause for a new birth. Actually, even agami karma is there. See, even for a Jivan Mukta, there is some agami karma that is there. It only doesn't go into his account. He does not have to take another birth to experience that punya and papa. All you have to do is keep eating daily and do your nitya naimitika karma. This then is one argument for gaining moksha through karma. The simple argument of Purva Mimamsaka. The two sets of karma, nitya karma and naimitika karma, are called duties. The Purva Mimamsaka argues that because they are duties, there is no result for you when you do them. So see, this is another argument. Whereas, what is our understanding? Any action will have a result. But the Purva Mimamsaka says, because they are duties, they will not have any result. In other words, they do not produce punya. And when you do not do these karmas, the omission attracts papa to you. This is the crux of the Purva Mimamsaka's argument. So, you do your duties. When you do duties, there is no action, there is no karma phala for that. But if you do not do that, you attract papa. By not doing nitya karma, you attract papa. That is the argument. How can one attract sin by not doing an action? An example is given. When a person bathes, no one notices because it's a common activity. No one says, oh, you took a bath. You seem to have taken a bath today. But suppose the person does not bathe. This omission is definitely noticed. If not by all, definitely by some. That is, whoever is close to that person. Thus, the Purva Mimamsaka's argument is that there are actions to be done, and if these are not done, there is a result. So see, there is a fallacy in their argument as it's being read, isn't it? So they say when you do a prescribed action, there is no result. But if you do not do it, there is a result. Nitya Naimitika karmas do not attract any result when they are done. Only when they are not done do they attract results, papa. This verse can therefore be seen from this standpoint. For the Purva Mimamsaka, the word karmani in the expression karmani akarmayah pashyet means nitya namitika karmani in the actions that are to be done daily or occasionally. And akarma refers to the absence of any result, phala abhava. Thus, the expression is taken to mean that one who sees akarma, the absence of result, in nitya naimitika karma is wise. I will read further, then we'll come back for a second repeat. Okay? But if there is no result to be gained, nitya naimitika karma cannot be called a karma at all because there is no doer. To this, the Purva Mimamsaka says, no, there is a doer. Atma is the karta. Therefore, you cannot nullify the doer. The result alone is not there. And because there is no result, the karma becomes as good as a karma. So going the reverse way, they're saying there's no result. Therefore, it is a karma. But they emphasize that there is a doer. So I'll just read these few paras again. So we understood this, that the Purva Mimamsaka says that karma is done. And what is that karma? Done as duties. Nitya Naimittika karmas are done. And you do this only for gaining moksha, not for kamya karma. Therefore, you are taking away punya from that equation. According to them, when you do your duties, there is no result. There is no punya, no result. And by avoiding papa karmas, you are also avoiding papa. And therefore, at the time of the person's leaving the body, when a person has such lived his life with a noble attitude of gaining the Purushartha as moksha, since there is no punya, no papa, there is no rebirth. That is moksha according to the Purva Mimamsaka. And then the two sets of karma, nitya naimitika karma, are called duties. When you do them as duties, there is no result for you when you do them. This is again according to Purva Mimamsa. In other words, they do not produce punya. And when you do not do these karmas, the omission attracts papa to you. This is the crux of the Purva Mimamsaka's argument. So let's get this version of perspective from the Purva Mimamsaka clear in our mind, because as we go the Purva Mimamsa argument keeps coming back again and again. In fact, I think 18th chapter is most of it is because is this argument. So if you do Nitya Naimitika karma, there is no punya. But if you do not do, you get papa. Yeah, you were saying, someone was saying something.
Yeah, I was saying if you are not doing the Nitya Karma, there will be Papa. But you are doing, there will be no result. So
No result.
what is so exactly for what? Because it is not a Kamya Karma also.
Correct. So it is only for moksha. For them, doing karma is only for gaining moksha.
Okay, so
See,
it is not incurring any Papa and Punya. No, not Punya, only Papa if you are not done.
See, with our little knowledge so far, we are able to see that there is some fault in this line of thinking, isn't it? How can doing an action not produce a result and not doing an action produce a result? And for that, they gave the example of what? Taking a bath. Nitya karma, one of the Nitya karmas is taking a bath daily. Supposing one does not take a bath, a person taking a bath, who takes a bath, may not be noticed. So that is their lack of karma phala. But a person who omits taking a bath, does not take a bath, everyone will start noticing him because of the stench. So that, according to the Purva Mimamsa, is papa. So that's the Purva Mimamsaka's argument, is that there are actions to be done, and if these are not done, there is a result. I think China had mentioned this as the Pratyavaya dosha. If you do not do, you get a dosha.
So in Nitya Karma, Agnihotra is also comes, or?
Correct. Yeah. So Nitya Naimitika karmas do not attract any result when they are done. Only when they are not done do they attract results papa. So this verse, this is Shankaracharya's other version of this verse, is looking at it with the lens of the Purva Mimamsaka. So from this standpoint, the word karmani in the expression karmani akarmaya pashet means nitya naimitika karmani, in the actions that are to be done daily or occasionally. So this is karma, and akarma refers to the absence of any result, karma abhava. Thus, the expression is taken to mean that one who sees akarma, the absence of result, in nitya naimitika karma is wise. So this is from the standpoint of Purva Mimamsa. Akarma here is understood to be absence of result. And karma is here Nitya Naimitika karma. So when one performs Nitya Naimitika karma diligently, there is no result. So that is akarma. But if there is no result to be gained, Nitya Naimitika karma cannot be called karma at all, because there is no doer. To this, the Purva Mimamsaka says, no, there is a doer. Atma is the karta. Therefore, you cannot nullify the doer. See, this is the second perspective of Purva Mimamsa. They insist that there is a doer. Whereas, what is the Vedanta saying? What is Vedanta saying? There is no doer. So let's keep this line of argument in our mind as we read further. The result alone is not there. And because there is no result, the karma becomes as good as akarma. I think we'll stop here. We have 2 minutes left. If there is no result, why perform action? So we'll see the argument as it moves further. Shankara's response. Yeah, we'll do this tomorrow. So any sharing? If Bela is here, we can ask her to chant them. Yeah, Bela, please go ahead. You chant it and then we'll do the Shanti Mantra. If you're able to sing that beautiful verse.
Yes. Hari Om. Jai Gurudev. एकमेवाद्वितीयं ये ब्रह्मा निर्गुणं निश्चलं निर्विकारम् एकमेवाद्वितीयं ये ब्रह्मा अत्र वेदान्तमेव प्रमाणम् बोधकः सद्गुरु तत्त्वनिष्ठः ईश्वरानुगृहीतेन वेद्यम् एकमेवाद्वितीयं ये ब्रह्म ज्ञानगम्यं तुरीयं हृदयस्थम् आत्मरूपं हि तत् येन ज्ञातम् सोध्वनः पारमाप्नोति सत्यम् एकमेवाद्वितीयं ये ब्रह्म ब्रह्मज्ञस्य तु ब्रह्मैव सर्वम् नास्ति मोहो भयं नैव दुःखम् तस्य स्वानन्दमग्नं हि चित्तम् एकमेवाद्वितीयं ये ब्रह्म निर्गुणं निश्चलं निर्विकारम् एकमेवाद्वितीयं ये ब्रह्म एकमेवाद्वितीयं ये ब्रह्म ब्रह्मैव सत्यम्
लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.